guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at some of the most dangerous kids in the world. Whenever you think of a kid, you usually think of somebody who's really nice, sweet and innocent. However, these kids were just plain evil.
Coming in at number 10, we have Morgan Giza and Anissa Wyatt. Creepypastas are fake horror stories spread online that can sometimes be pretty scary, but at least they're not in the real world, right? Well, in 2014, two 12-year-old girls brought what was a scary story for entertainment into reality.
If I am correct, these two girls basically tried to sacrifice someone to Slender Man. This is why I need to be careful what you read online, because like they genuinely believe Slender Man was like a real thing. Yet again, these were kids that done this, like it's quite scary.
They spent a year planning to sacrifice someone with the hopes that they would please Slender Man.
Exactly, like these little kids genuinely thought they would like sacrifice someone for Slender Man. It sounds like something you would see in a book, but like this is why I need to be careful, especially if kids with stuff they read online. If they believe in this stuff, they can get sucked in and then some like psycho freak can like radicalize them and get them to do stuff like that.
So one Saturday, the two girls named Morgan and Anissa convinced one of their middle school classmates to go into the woods where they lived in Wisconsin.
See, I love going into the woods. Like I think it's so fascinating how there's like trees everywhere and like wildlife. However, because of situations like this, I low-key get kind of scared. This could happen in like a park. Like it doesn't have to be a wood. I think the girl survived in the end, but like it's gonna be really traumatic. She's gonna have trauma.
They tried to take the girl named Peyton Lutner's life with a knife. When they thought they were done, they walked away, leaving Peyton in the woods.
Okay, so they've kind of like censored it. They stabbed her a lot of times. Like the police were very shocked in how she actually survived. But basically they like sacrificed her for Slender Man. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like an actual thing that happened. These kids genuinely thought that like Slender Man was gonna be happy with them. This is why you need to keep an eye on what your kids read and watch.
However, Peyton miraculously lived and was able to crawl to a local house to call for help. She was in hospital for a few days and thankfully made a full recovery.
Exactly, like she was able to recover in the end, which was good. But it's like, it's good that she like didn't die, but like she's gonna have all that trauma and pain. Like she's gonna remember everything. It must be so scary if a near-death experience happens to you, especially something like that where you get betrayed by like your best friend. Like she's gonna be remembering that for the rest of her life. I wouldn't be shocked if she never wanted to leave her house again.
Afterwards, the creator of Slender Man actually gave his condolences as to what happened and gave Peyton some money.
So because of him creating like a fictional character Slender Man, it nearly caused the death of somebody. Obviously like it must be fun making up like a creepy character online. It's kind of like a book or like a mythic legend. However, in this case, like it ended up with somebody nearly losing their life. I kind of want to know what he felt like. He's probably thinking, oh my god, what have I done?
The two girls were sentenced to prison time at first, but this was later changed to 25 years in a mental home.
Exactly, like 25 years in a mental home. Keep in mind, these are literal kids. Like these are young kids. Quite crazy to think that they could do something like that. Yet again, if you've got kids, keep an eye on them. If you literally have like younger friends, make sure like they're like safe online because stuff like this can happen.
Next up, we have Girl A. On June 1st, 2004, a girl who can legally only be referred to as Girl A took the life of her fellow classmate. At 11 years old, Girl A used a knife on Satomi Mitaru, who was also 11 at the time.
Why did an 11-year-old have a knife in them? We don't know who the girl is, but she's known as Girl A. It's quite crazy to think that the person who done this to Girl A, or maybe the perpetrator was Girl A. Either way, the person who done this is probably still alive. Like, they know exactly what happened. It's quite crazy to think that as of right now, they're doing something. Everyone right now is breathing and doing something. It could be a prisoner, a murderer, like a family member. It's quite crazy, isn't it?
It happened at an elementary school in Sasebo, Japan. The girl is kind of a mystery as she was only 12, meaning that by Japanese law she couldn't be photographed or named. However, I'm not in Japan, so I can tell you her name is actually Natsumi.
Okay, so we found out her name's Natsume. I kind of feel bad for her parents. Like, what do her parents think? I don't know why she'd have a knife in her. Like, where'd she get it? Kind of makes you think, like, where did the kids get this stuff? I've said it before about babies, you need to keep an eye on them. You literally can turn around for 1 second and then whenever you turn back, they're gone. With kids, it's even worse because they've got like functional brains and they can end up doing stuff like that.
A teacher found out about what she did pretty soon, and after she was taken to a police station. She spent the night saying, "I'm so sorry" to the police and crying.
Obviously, she was like arrested and taken to a police station, but it makes you think, like, how did she do it and why did she do it? Is she a psychopath? Is something going on in her brain? Like, somebody done this.
But why did such an innocent girl do this? Well, apparently Satomi had called Natsumi a goody-goody, which was a reference to her weight. Believe it or not, all she was sentenced to was 2 years in a mental home. This became a Japanese meme as the reason why they should lower the age of criminal responsibility.
Wait a minute, so because she murdered someone it became a meme? She shouldn't get 2 years in mental facility, she should literally get like 20 years. If she's doing that age 12, what's she gonna be doing like age 20? Think of it, this happened in 2004, didn't it? So like, she was out of the home by 2006. How old would she be right now? She's probably 30 something.
Next up is the Beaver Brothers. This one took place in July 2015 in Oklahoma. Two brothers named Robert, who was 18, and Michael, who was 16, took the life of their entire family.
Oh my god, their entire family. How did this happen? Like, it genuinely makes you think what is going on in somebody's brain. You could be looking at anyone and they could be planning planning to murder somebody. You know, school shooters, terrorists, like normal people. It's crazy, isn't it?
This included their parents and 2 out of their 4 siblings with a knife. But that's not all. What they were plotting was way worse. They were plotting a mass life-taking to gain fame.
Gain fame, really? Yeah, these are mentally disturbed boys who needed therapy by the sounds of it. I wonder if there was any like red flags before this happened, because sometimes there is red flags. I mean, it happens, so like you can't take it back, but it's crazy to think they basically killed their whole family. Their innocent family, like they literally took their lives away.
Believe it or not, this is the motivation behind many criminals, which is why some news outlets like Philip DeFranco and more don't show the criminals' faces.
Do you want to know something that actually makes a lot of sense? Like, I've wondered that, especially in like newspapers, they'll just like blur out the face. Is it because their intentions was to get fame? I mean, like, they probably are going to be forgotten after a year because crime like that happens all the time, but I genuinely don't know why they'd throw their life away to do something like that for fame.
The brothers were called the most evil brothers in America by the press and were sent to jail. But why did the brothers not take the lives of all of their siblings and only 2 out of the 4?
Okay, so 2 out of the 4 siblings, like, survive. Wouldn't that be worse because they literally have to live with the memories and, like, the knowledge that their siblings were killed? I'm hoping that they spared, like, the youngest ones because they were just babies.
Well, they first took the lives of David and April Beaver, their mum and dad, and then did the same with their 12-year-old brother Daniel. 7-year-old Christopher and 5-year-old Victoria met the same fate. They then tried to do the same to their 13-year-old sister, but failed, and even told her they'd do the same to their 2-year-old sister as well. However, the 2-year-old was left unharmed and was taken into foster care.
Okay, so at least 2 of them survived, but they tried to do it to the 13-year-old girl. That poor girl, like, the little baby probably won't remember it, but, like, the girl will. Wait, so the baby got put into foster care, so is the baby gonna get taken away from, like, the sister? Surely them 2 should stick together, like, that is literally the only family left that she's got.
This sure is one crazy story of 2 very dangerous brothers.
I mean, yeah, but, like, it genuinely is just pure evil. Like, how are these kids like this? I'm usually scared of adults, but you want to do something? I'm gonna look at kids now and think that they're capable of doing stuff like that.
Coming up next, we have Jasmine Richards. This is one of the most famous dangerous kids in the world. Jasmine Richards from Alberta, USA had a boyfriend named Jeremy Stenk. They were both pretty odd and liked to talk about things most people would find scary.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I think I've heard of this story before. I recognize his face and his face is creepy. Do you want to know something? Maybe you should judge somebody by their appearance. He looks scary and creepy and I'm guessing he done something bad.
A few times, Jasmine and Jeremy had talked about taking the lives of Jasmine's family. This was because Jasmine's parents had punished her for dating Jeremy, as he was 23 and she was 12.
That makes a lot of sense. Why would a 12-year-old need to be dating a 23-year-old? Surely they should have just called the police. Like, he literally would have got arrested. Oh no, I know exactly what's happened. He's probably groomed her and then they killed the parents and ran away. I'm guessing that's what happened.
However, Jasmine said it was all a joke and they were never doing it in a serious way. However, in 2006, one night, Jeremy entered the Richards household and took the lives of Jasmine's parents.
So he literally went in and killed them. But she said it was a joke when it obviously wasn't a joke. When was that, like, in the 2000s? So she's gonna be like 20 something now. She's gonna be in her mid-20s. I mean, I hope she's in jail, both of them.
She said she was shocked and was in a zombie state, whatever that means, and she couldn't stop or go for help. I don't know about that, but she then did what Jeremy did to her parents, but to her own brother.
Wait, what? So she done it to her brother as well? Nah, I'm sorry. She ain't in a zombie form. She is just pure evil. Yet again, a 12-year-old. Like, I can't believe like a 12 and 13-year-old are doing this. How can you literally do that? Like, what was I doing whenever I was 12? I can't even remember. It was that long ago.
She was only sentenced to 10 years in the mental ward, probably because of her age, and is out now.
Okay, so she's literally out of jail. That's scary because, like, she literally done that. Like, she remembers what she done and she's out of jail. If I ever go to date somebody, I'm gonna do, like, a big deep dive. You know how, like, the FBI will, like, go into their files and, like, research the person? I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm literally gonna face scan them and look for anything about them on the internet.
However, Jeremy was locked up for 25 years with parole and will be out in 2034.
Okay, he's gonna be out in 2034, so that's in 12 years. I mean, technically, that's not actually that long. It's just crazy to think that he's gonna be out of jail one day. I reckon they're gonna meet up. Like, would they do that? Honestly, he should be in jail until he dies.
Next up is Shirley Wolf and Cindy Collier. One day, 2 girls named Shirley, who was 14, and Cindy, who was 15, knocked on the door of Anna Brackett, who was 85. They said a weirdo was following them and they wanted to come inside and use her phone.
Oh no, these girls. I know exactly what they've done. This poor old woman has looked at these kids and thought, oh my god, these poor little kids are literally, like, getting followed. And they probably went into the house and killed her.
Anna let the girls in, but then all of a sudden they took her life with a knife and ran out of the door. The creepy thing is, Anna was found by her son, who had just driven past the 2 girls and thought nothing of them.
Oh my god, yeah, that's awful. You always have to think that whenever stuff like this happens, somebody finds the body. That would genuinely be, like, my worst nightmare. Like, imagine you come home one day and, like, a loved one is just dead. Even if it's, like, a natural death, if they're, like, older, it's still a death. You never really think about that, do you? Like, you never really think about the person who found the body and how they might feel and react. I mean, imagine you just like walk in and someone's just like lying there gone. It would be freaky.
And if you want something even more creepy, the two girls had just done the same thing to another woman before what they did to Anna.
Wait, so they done it to somebody else, so they killed 2 people? Yet again, how are these kids doing this? Like, where are they learning this? I mean, don't get me wrong, whenever I get angry, sometimes I think in the back of my head, oh my god, I want to go and kill my mom. Like, I wouldn't actually do it.
They knocked on her door and entered the house, but her husband came into the room, so they decided to leave. The woman said they were very odd and cleaned the glasses she'd gave them and wiped their phone with cleaning gel after she was done using it.
Okay, so they probably planned to take her life, but then they realized, oh no, the husband's home, we will not do it. Yet again, where did they plan to do this and how did they plan to do it? What child literally plans to go out and do this?
This was to try and get rid of their fingerprints, but even though they did this, it didn't take long for cops to track down the teens.
Exactly, like the police will literally find you, especially now with the technology and DNA stuff they've got nowadays. If this happened maybe 50, 60 years ago, it would be longer and harder for them to figure out who done it. But nowadays, they just need to take one fingerprint and they will get your DNA and find out within a split second where you live and where you currently are.
The duo were sentenced to a long time in a mental ward. But why did they do this, you're probably asking? Well, here's the most messed up part. They said they just did it for fun.
They done it for fun. Whenever I was 14, what I would do for fun was to like run around the field and like be crazy. And these 2 girls are out here killing people.
Next up is Nehemiah Griego. This one took place in New Mexico in 2013. A 15-year-old boy named Nehemiah Griego decided to take his mom's life one night with a .22 caliber rifle. His brother then woke up and Nehemiah showed him what he'd done. His brother then became upset, so Nehemiah did what he did to his mom but to his brother, who was only 9.
Oh my god, his 9-year-old brother. It's bad enough that like he took his mum's life, but an innocent child, a 9-year-old boy. I used to want siblings whenever I was younger, but actually now I'm happy I'm an only child.
He then went into his sister's room, who were 5 and 2, and did the same thing to them as well. He then waited for his dad to come home and did the same thing to him.
So he done it to his mum, his brother, his 2 sisters, and his dad. So he literally took out the whole family. This genuinely is just like heartbreaking. Like, this is devastating. What happened? Like, why did he decide to do that?
His dad was actually the brother of a prominent New Mexico politician named Eric Griego. Nehemiah was actually planning to take more lives, but was stopped by the police. In court, he even had to wear a mouthguard to stop him spitting at people. He was sentenced to prison time and will be released when he turns 21, which is in just over 2 years.
He's gonna be released when he's 21. Okay, this video was posted in 2018, so he's currently out of jail. Oh my god, that's terrifying. So how can someone go from killing their whole family to being let out of jail when they're 21? The justice system is very flawed, and this is one of the flaws. Like, they need to change that. He killed his whole family by the age of 9 and now he's out of jail.
Next up is James Fairweather. Many people have idols. For some, it's noble people like singers, sports people, or Logan Paul. But some people idolize different kinds of people, like killers.
Yup, and that is something that I've noticed. Do you ever like see on TikTok how people like make edits of like killers or like serial killers and they're like, oh my god, I love them to murder me? I'm hoping that they're joking, but deep down you genuinely don't know. Like, there are people out there who idolize these evil people.
14-year-old British schoolboy James Fairweather was one of those people. In 2015, he took a man's life with a knife, and then in 2016 took a woman's life with a bayonet. He was planning to take a third person's life, but was arrested and sent to prison with a minimum of 27 years behind bars.
So he took 2 lives before he was caught. That's quite scary. Like, any day you do leave your house, it could be your possible last. You don't know if someone like him is hiding in like the trees. Maybe I shouldn't go for walks at night because something like this could happen.
The reason for why he did this was because he was obsessed with killers such as the Yorkshire Ripper and Ted Bundy, and he even had a picture of Ted Bundy on his cell phone. When he was sentenced, he said, "I don't give a shit." The investigation to bust this guy took 1,500 officers and 10,000 hours, and I bet they were surprised when it turned out to be a teen.
Exactly, like usually whenever you think of people like that, you're like, oh, it's probably like someone older, but no, this was a kid. And don't get me wrong, I love watching murder documentaries. They're my favorite things to watch. I think it's so interesting how somebody's brain can be like that messed up and evil, but I'd never do something like that. Anyways guys, that is the end of that video. That was some of the most dangerous kids in the world. Usually I'm scared of adults, but you wanna know something? I'm now scared of kids. Anyways, if you're new, hit that big red subscribe button, and just I'll see you all in my next video.